No, that's wrong. Dixie Diamonds 104. Cooktown, Metz 612. Through Balloony's telepathic power of observation, Z, along with Paul, Karen, and the likewise detained Joey, observed through Pierre Cochon's senses his steepling his fingers at chest level and nodding at the detained Dr. Rosier. Cochon smiled in response to Pilatre's pleas to help him find the rogue Reverend and said, "Finding this mystical Balloony is precisely my mission. That and determining what you and Miss Habanero have been plotting. I repeat, honesty and cooperation are essential if you wish to regain freedom. You are telling me that this Brancy tried to murder you this year and you did nothing about it? You did not contact the Australian police before fleeing to France, nor tell the French authorities anything of this, even as you continued your research here in France? Please, this is literally unbelievable, no?" Rosier's head dropped such that his chin nearly hit his chest. "Post-traumatic stress amnesia? That plus denial? Until this black woman emailed me, I had only the vaguest of recollections concerning what had occurred and a very strong desire to move forward. Please ask Miss Habanero if this is not what she observed. I was shocked by these emails, and it was only through the carrot of possibly being able to learn what had happened to me back in Brisbane that I responded. I still have 1,000 times more questions than I have answers. All I know for certain is that Brancy is after that Reverend and that we must get it first." Cochon verbalized a non-word, sat back in his chair. "Both you and the young woman insist that this Reverend is a rogue form created by your Brancy, and that we detain you just before you could wrestle control away from your nemesis and claim this Balloony." Here Cochon tilted his head and furrowed his brow to indicate disbelief while finger-quoting Balloony. "As your own tool, how is this done, and what is required?" Rosier shook his head and said, "My Reverend design includes a tracking device within each unit that has a unique frequency. Miss Habanero and I had arranged to change Balloony's code from Brancy's to ours. By changing the code, we could deny Brancy access to its location and also track it, capture it, and study it. That was our dark, treasonous plan. Once in our control, our forces could have intercepted it, something that would have eliminated the immediate threat from Brancy and given France a huge advantage in data gathering. As my Reverend cannot be seen by radar, they are fantastic stealth observers, but they are mindless drones. My stealth drones are decidedly useful, but their powers are a mere glimmer of this Balloony's. My plan was to wrench access to this mutant Reverend from Brancy and bring it to France, but you have thrown a huge spanner into the works." Psst! To throw a spanner or monkey wrench into the works means to sabotage and destroy something. "And what is required to change this Balloony's code?" Cochon asked. 2 computers to the World Wide Web with a universal serial bus code on the Australian side, Rosier said. "The NGO researcher who contacted me was to assist Balloony with its USB cord. It's a simple procedure, but it requires plugging the Reverend into the computer via the USB. But thanks to you, now it also requires finding Balloony again." Cochon pursed his lips, then asked, "And if we provide you with the computer and apparatus that you need, and persuade or capture your Balloony and change this code, we can take control of it?" "If we can capture it, we can control it," Rosier said. "But the moment we change that code, Brancy loses access to it, and that is imperative." Pushing his chair back and standing, Cochon looked down at Rosier and said, "This is your opportunity to redeem yourself, Doctor. Regardless of why you have done what you have done, you have failed utterly in your sworn role as an adjunct to the DGSE. I cannot promise you much, but I can promise that aiding us in our efforts to control any and all Reverend, and especially one with telepathic powers, will go a long way in convincing us that you still have value. Do I make myself clear?" "Crystal," Rosier replied from his seat, voice strong as he looked up and met Cochon's gaze. "I shall return," Cochon said. "I suggest you prepare yourself to help as needed." Nodding, smiling, adding au revoir, then being buzzed out of the cell.